The 8 will fall to suspend the relevant rules to take up the matter of public urgent importance. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, distinguished honorable members. I'm Honorable Ibrahim Ayokunle Isiaka. I represent the good people of Ifo, a Wekuru Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the state. I ask Mr. Speaker to second the motion assembly moved by my dearest honorable member, Buka. I also second, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Buka.
Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Bukar Gana Kareto, member representing Abadam, Bukawa, Kuzamada, and Mobile Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. Gruesome attack and killing of innocent Nigerians in 2 refugee camps in Tumbur, Tifa region of Niger Republic. The House notes with utmost concern the persistent and continuous effect of Boko Haram insurgency in Northeast region of the country, particularly in Borno State, that led to the movement of the massive proportion of large population from Abadam, Mobor, to Tifa region in neighboring Niger Republic. How disturbed by the insurgents of the barbaric and gruesome killing of innocent Nigerians by the insurgents in recent week, with a very similar occurrence just last week by the insurgents on Saturday, 12 December 2020. In Tumbur town of Tifa region in Niger Republic, when a huge population of refugees from Abada and Mobile local government areas resides. Further disturbed that it was an attack of an unprecedented Sabagri, which occurred at about 8 p.m. when Boko Haram insurgents stormed into the town, shooting people at sight, with over 80 of the villages severely burned and damaged, leading to the death of 38 persons, several with gunshot wound, and others still missing or at large. House concerned that with the cold and harsh Hamatan weather, lack of shelter, and food among others, the people are on the verge of a massive humanitarian disaster. House worried that if urgent steps are not taken by the federal government, more people may also lose their lives, most importantly, the vulnerable ones and the elderly. Commend and appreciate the effort of the Nigerian government and that of the Tifa region in Niger Republic, as well as the effort of the Executive Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, for his untiring and unrelenting assistance toward the plight of these innocent citizens. House resolved, observe a minute silence for innocent victims of the barbaric and gruesome attack. 2, urge the federal government to immediately direct the armed force and relevant security agencies to beef up its personnel and equipment to higher front areas around the Lake Chad zone to flush out insurgency. 3, urge the federal government to send as a matter of urgency medical and emergency relief materials and equipment to victims of the attack. 4, further urge the federal government as a matter of urgency to put in place and implement coordinated mechanism to return displaced refugees from Niger Republic and other countries back to Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Gadi.
Okay. You're seconding, right? I'm not sure where we are now.
Honorable colleagues, my
Rahis Abdulkar. I represent Maiduguri Federal Constituency of Borno State. I rise to second a motion heavily moved by my honorable colleagues, Honorable Malam Bakar Gana Kareto. I so second.
Ghana, do you want to take a minute or should I put the question? Okay, let's put the question. It's a security, very important matter. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Martins. Oh, we're saving the best for last now. Okay, Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Toby Okechukwu and I represent an area of Wotu River Federal Constituency from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I want to seek relief from Order 8, Rule 4 and 7 on this motion of urgent public importance regarding the leasing of federal government assets. We need to interrogate the nature and character of its operation. And it is urgent to enable government to improve its revenue. I so seek, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to take this and to also suspend our rules? Honorable Lumelu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elumelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Shimilifera constituency. I rise to second the motion as moved by the Deputy Minority Leader, Honorable Toby Okechukwu. I so second.
Okay, being our third motion, those who support that it's urgent enough and that we suspend our rules, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
Thank you, honorable colleagues. This motion is on the need to urgently investigate the golden lease of federal government-owned assets. The House notes the need to plug revenue leakages and enhance the revenue of government. The House is aware of the dwindling revenue generation from oil that the federal government of Nigeria is planning to sell off some of its assets and concession other assets to enable it raise funds for budget implementation. The House is worried that issues bordering on lease of federal government assets may be compromised where there is no proper oversight. The House is convinced that there is an urgent need to review all leases of federal government assets with a view to expunging all sale provisions and enacting new ones in line with current state of affairs to be determined by market forces. The House is also convinced that the exercise would help the federal government remove loss of revenues in hands of few individuals ripping off the system. The House resolves to set up an ad hoc committee of the House to review all related leasing and concession of federal government assets and report back to the House within 6 weeks for further legislative action. I so move.
Thank you, Honorable Lumelu again.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elumelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. I rise to second this motion as ably moved by the Deputy Minority Leader, so second.
Okay, before we put the question, I think Honorable Engineer Johnson, you have an amendment? What's your amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Gani Abiodun Johnson. I represent the good people of Oshodi, Isolo, Federal Constituency 2. I rise to amend as follows. That the House resolves to include additional new members in view of the additional new scope of work for this committee on abandoned federal government properties and assets. The reason being that yesterday there was a motion on abandoned bridge works, and I believe that more of such will crop up, and sincerely speaking, we need to inject more people so that we can deliver goods on time. Thank you very much.
Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think this motion is quite distinct from the earlier one that was set up, which is ongoing, and even that of yesterday. So this is quite distinct, and there is no conflict. It should be independent.
Which one was the one of yesterday?
Okay.
Yesterday's own was on issue of abandoned projects and properties. Abandoned projects and abandoned properties, and the ad hoc chairman, Honorable Kuye, and the Deputy Minority Leader sat down and looked at it, and the areas that he had some reservation was on issue of Tafa Balewa Square and another place again, but it has no relationship whatsoever. And it has been deleted from the motion.
Is Honorable Kuya here? It's gone. So I think, yes, I think Honorable Kuya and Honorable Toby had worked on that, and they realized that they're separate. So I don't know, in view of that, Engineer John said, because Honorable Kuya, before he left, I think he worked on this motion with, and he said that two separate motions. So do you still want to take your amendment, or do you want to step it down?
Mr. Speaker, sir. No, all we are saying here is that, we should include, I know there is an existing adult committee on abandoned projects. You know, I'm aware of that. So what I'm saying is that they should probably include more people to the existing committee. That's all.
Yes, and I think what they're saying is that, because Honorable Kuya was here a minute ago, and they sat together, and Honorable Kuya said it's different from the abandoned.
No, I'm not saying the adult, yes, I mean the...
Hold on, huh?
No, there are two.
Go on.
Okay. See, what I'm saying, sir, is that the first one, yes, they should step that down, but they should now, the existing adult committee should be expanded, that's all, by including more people. Instead of creating new one, that's all. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
No, I think just like Honorable Sagis Oguns has an adult committee that is on issue of tank farm, abandoned tank farm and co on. Honorable Kuye's own is on abandoned properties. But yesterday, we added abandoned projects to his own. Now, this motion is totally different. It's talking about leasing, not on abandoned projects. So they are totally different issues. And Honorable Kuye came, both of them sat down, looked at the body of the motion, and they both agreed that truly they are two different issues. But he himself also, because yesterday he tried to make an amendment for them to increase the number of members on Honorable Kuye's own, but it was not taken because he had already put the question. And perhaps that is what he's trying to amend on that one.
Okay, Honorable Isiaka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I just have a little concern here. Isiaka Ibrahim Ayokunle. This calling for this ad hoc committee here, there, instead of this expansion as espoused by Honorable Johnson, the ad hoc committees will end up calling the same set of people. If we have ad committee 1, 2, 3, we will now be addressing the same set of people at different times. I see it as more or less duplication of the efforts of this National Assembly. So if we can harmonize, consolidate, and then unite, have more people on board on the same committee, they will share themselves into subcommittees within the ad hoc, and then they do the job together. That's my own honest opinion and suggestion, Mr. Speaker, sir. Because we'll end up calling one agency almost 10 times by different committees. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished colleagues, I remain Honorable Bid Uchenna Eke. I represent the good people of Abombise, Ngobala Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the two motions, they are not the same. This one is talking about abandoned projects. And this one is talking about concessions and sale of assets to generate more revenue for the federal government. So they are two separate motions. I think Honorable Toby, our Deputy Minority Leader, is in order. And by Mr. Speaker, I will beg our colleagues to allow this motion to pass so that it will have its ad hoc committee. Thank you.
We have an amendment on ground. Yes.
Honorable Bayo Balogun, representing Beduleki Federal Constituency of Lagos State. Yeah, like we have been saying, there have been so much duplication of agencies. Now we are also doing the same thing at the Parliament. Ad hoc committees, most of the times, might just take 1 or 2, 3 sittings to finish their jobs. So if we have an existing one, that's what we say, we can always expand. Because if we continue going this way, most of the time we end up creating more committees even than the problems we are solving. So I believe we have anything on property should work together. It can be expanded, create subcommittee so that when the job of the subcommittee ends, that one can just stop so that the main committee will still be there. There will still be more motions on properties. There will still be more motions. So every time another issue of property comes, we set up another ad hoc committee. So please, I believe we should just expand what we have on ground, as suggested by Honorable Johnson, so that we move forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So I guess, Honorable Johnson, are you stepping down your amendment or is it being seconded? Because I have to follow procedure. Are you stepping it down or is it being? You are not. Any seconder? Honorable Alice. Hold on. Go ahead, Ali.
I remain Honorable Abdullah Ibrahim Halims. By the grace of God, I represent the good people of Ankpa, Omala, Olawaboro Federal Constituency. I rise to support the amendment as moved by Engineer Shegun that the existing ad hoc committee to deal with the issue on the ground. Thank you, sir.
Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Okay, we'll take it again. Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. So the amendment is to expand and include new members of this. I haven't hit the gavel yet. Somebody was saying something. Yeah, Honorable. This is going against procedure. I'm actually supposed to put the question and hit the gavel, but I want us to be sure and clear on this. I think, sorry.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and my very distinguished colleagues. My name is Ochuchukwu Namubi, and I represent the good people of Ahonyi West and Oba Ibema 20 Federal Constituency. I'm from Rivers State. Mr. Speaker, no, the question has not been put. Sorry, and I have his protection. Thank you. I have a privilege to also air my view. Sorry. Now, what I'm just trying to say, Mr. Speaker, is to support Honorable Toby's motion. Reason being that this is not novel for us not to have, a standing committee and another committee. This is just supposed to address a particular issue. So we would not follow the way of sentiment or what certain chairmen who have committees who do not want. Excuse me, Honorable. Now, the point I'm trying to make, Mr. Speaker, is that there is nothing wrong in having such committees to address particular issues for expediency and time. So we would not say, oh, because we have other committees, therefore this order should not be in place. So I pray that our colleagues should just allow this to go. It is normal, it's parliamentary practice. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You must understand where they're coming from, that we cannot have duplication or multiplicity of committees doing the same thing. But I don't think my advice is this. Rather than, we'll put the question, but rather than hit the gavel, I think let us tarry a while till Monday. Let Honorable Kuye, who is actually chairing the ad hoc committee, come and explain to us whether this is the same thing or it's not the same matter. I would not like, and it would not be good for this house, like he rightly pointed out, for us to call this person today, and that person will call the person the next day on the same matter. But it may be a different matter. That's what we need to clarify. And the only person that can clarify this, two people, the chairman of the ad hoc committee, Honorable Kuye, and chairman business. Chairman business, please get together with Honorable Kuye, Honorable Toby, and yourself, and let's see if these things are the same in material on Monday, and then we'll make it. Because if we put the question now, it's clear that the pendulum is one way, and I don't want to go against. So I'll advise, just for us to be safe and not make the wrong decision, let's wait till Monday. Thank you. Huh? Why not do that? Monday. We said it now. We said Monday. We said Monday. Eh? We'll take it on Monday. It's 1:30 now. The business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission on the issue from the Statutory Revenue Fund of the Niger Delta Development Commission. The total sum of 453,200 million naira only, of which the sum of 27,389 million naira only is for personnel expenditure. 13,937,244,177 naira only is for overhead expenditure. 2 billion. What's going on over there? Honorable Sejus, Honorable Kumo. And 55,893 naira only is for internal capital. 409,880 million naira only is for development projects for the period ending on 31st March 2021. Standing in the name of Honorable Lubumi Tunji Ojo, Honorable Tunji Ojo is invited to present the report.
The mic is on. It's on. I represent the good people of Akoko Northeast, Akoko Northwest Federal Constituency. I'm from the Sunshine State of Ondo. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, on the issue from the Statutory Revenue Fund of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, the total sum of 453,200 million naira only, of which the sum of 27,389 million only is for personal expenditure. 13,937,244,107 naira only is for overhead expenditure. 2,793,755,893 naira only is for internal capital. 409,80 million naira only is for development project for the period ending on 31st of March 2021. I hereby move the motion for the permission to lay this report.
Honorable Ben Kalu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Benjamin Okezie Carlo. I represent the good people of Nigeria, starting from Bende Federal Constituency and from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague, I rise to support the motion that is raised by the Chairman, House Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission, the person of Honorable Tunji Ojo, to enable him lay the report. I so second.
Yeah, those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Joe, you may lay your report.
Your time is off.
First order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to amend the 2020 Appropriation Act in order to extend the implementation period from 31st December 2020 to March 2021. And for related matters, honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 16 December 2020, and hereby call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be read the third time.
Sorry, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Ado Dogwa is my name. Mr. Speaker, I represent the people of Dogwa, Tunumada Federal Constituency. Honorable members, I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend the 2020 Appropriation Act in order to extend the implementation period from 31st December 2020 to 31st of March 2021, and for related matters HB 1194 be read the third time. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, my name is Babangida Alasan Abdallah, representing Dala Federal Constituency from Kano State. I rise upon the motion heavily moved by Leader of the House. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable members, the question is that the bill be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. I now invite the clerk to read the long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the 2020 Appropriation Act in order to extend the implementation period from 31 December 2020 to 31 March 2021 and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read third time and passed. Second order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to amend the selected legislations, finance, and for related matters. Honourable members recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Wednesday, 16 December 2020. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Once again, Ado Dogwa is my name. I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend selected legislations on finance and for related matters, HB 1139, be read the third time. Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Honorable Zangodara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second. I rise to second the motion as moved by the honorable leader, sir. I so move. I so second.
Thank you. Those in favor that this bill be now read the third time, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend selected legislations, finance, and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill referred to the Special Ad Hoc Committee. Okay, bill read the third time and passed. Third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. And for related matters, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 24th November 2020, and now invite Honorable Gagdi to move that the bill be read the second time.
I'm Yusuf Adamugagdi. I represent Panshinkanke Kanam. I'm from Plateau State. I rise, Mr. Speaker, to move that a bill for an act to alter the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended and for related matters, HB 111, standing in my name to move for the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Fumelu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues. I remain Ofumelo Vincent Kennedy Lichuku. I represent Oyi Ayamelon Federal Constituency. I am from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by my good friend and colleague, Honorable Yusuf Gandhi. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Gagdi.
My name is Yusuf Adamugagdi. I represent Panshinkanke Kanama. I'm from Plateau State. It's very short and simple, Mr. Speaker, leading this debate for an act to alter the provision of Section 215 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and for other matters. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, once again, I thank you for this privilege to lead the debate on the general principle of this important bill to alter Section 215. Mr. Speaker, it's a very straightforward. Section 215 of the bills is about inserting Section 1 by inserting the recommendation of the Inspector General of Police in terms of posting and recruitment into the Nigerian police so that it will communicate well with the various police reform that we have undertaken. And that is why Section B is introduced to the bill, that the responsibility for the recruitment of recruit constable into the Nigerian police and recruit cadet into the Nigerian Police Academy should be the duty of the Inspector General of Police. Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, this is in order for all the legislation we have undertaken regarding to police reform to speak to one another. And that is why I will not waste time in saying much. I urge my colleagues, believing that they will give me the support since this bill is a straightforward piece of legislation, and therefore appeal for overwhelming support that the bill be read for second time to refer to the relevant committee of the House for further legislative action in order to achieve the total reform of the Nigerian police. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, straightforward. Abonta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Uzoma Ikim Abonta, Mr. Speaker from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I've read section 215 as sought to be amended. Mr. Speaker, I'm in agreement that any radical thing that will give police all the requirements to be effective should be encouraged, including constitutional amendment. Mr. Speaker, this bill, from what I saw here, seeks to authorize or to grant rights, powers to Inspector General of Police to do recruitment as against the Police Service Commission. My brother wants to see in the wisdom of those who crafted and said Police Service Commission should recruit, should post, is big. Where you domicile it in the IG, the right to recruit and post. Mr. Speaker, absolute powers, absolutely, will give us danger. Recently, Supreme Court nullified the Court of Appeal, Court of Appeal. This matter was tested in court where police, IG and so on, did certain things, recruitment. The Police Service Commission went to court and said, no, this is our right. Mr. Speaker, Police Service Commission has a federal character resemblance. They decide who is employed and who goes to which state. If you're asking us now to allow Attorney General, one man, to sit down, decide, Inspector General of Police, one man, to sit down, decide who is getting recruited, who goes to Abia, who goes to Sokoto, he'll be overburdened. He'll be saddled with too much, not knowing what to do. So what will be the duty of the Police Service Commission? Are we going to disband that? So I should think that we should step this down and look at it and look at the ways and means. What he's trying to do, I agree, is to make flexibility for the IG to send a command. I know you're right. Come on, you go and get Abuja in order without passing through the protocols and the bottlenecks. Be that as it may, we must be careful so that a larger people who are, if you look at those who make all the Police Service Commission, some are experienced police officers and all walks of life. We should not do this because we want to give the IG flexibility to run the command. I agree, but there should be a valve, and that valve is the Police Service Commission. On that note, I should think that we should step this down and look at it in a way so that we do not grant too much rights on one person. On that note, I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Gagdi, Honorable Abonta raised a very germane issue about the conflict between the Service Commission and so, yeah, do you want to reply?
I represent Panshinkanki Kanama. I'm from Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, from his submission, there is a total misunderstanding of the responsibility of the Police Service Commission. There have never been a time that they recruit. The institution that own the police colleges, Police Service Commission is not like regular civil service. Inspector General of Police means police force. Just like in the military, in the army, in the air force, in the navy, the service chief reserves the right to recruit the type of characters being the operational commandants of those security agencies that they want in the service. The Police Service Commission responsibility is to appoint. After recruitment, they give appointment. That is what the law says. So there is no contradiction. This is just to further strengthen the Police Act that was signed by Mr. President. The responsibility of the Police Service Commission is, after the Inspector General, who knows the quality of the people they want in the police force, finish recruitment, this has been the ideal work. They now forward it to the Police Service Commission to issue appointment letters to those officers, operational officers that are recruited. But for administrative staff of the police, it is the responsibility of the Police Service Commission to do them. Institutions that own training colleges in the police is not the Police Service Commission. All the training colleges in Nigeria that is responsible for the training and recruitment of the police belong to the police force. So if you give the responsibility of recruitment to a commission who does not know the operational demands of the Nigerian police, I think, sir, you will be suffocating the security institution in Nigeria. This is not an invention, it's not a new thing. It has been what is in practice, is just to be able to strengthen the various legislation we have put in place. There is no conflict whatsoever, Mr. Speaker.
What about the appeal court's decision?
Sir, the appeal court decision was prior to the signing of the Police Act, and there was no any piece of legislation, even in the past record, that Police Service Commission was allowed to do recruitment in the Nigerian police. So it was prior to the signing of the new Police Act by Mr. President. That was why that judgment went that way. And it is still, there is a stay of execution in court, and the matter has been put to stay, and it is presently in the Supreme Court to be able to ratify it with the existing 2020 Police Act that was signed by Mr. President.
You know what's interesting, Honorable Gagdi? The Police Service Commission reform bill that was moved a couple of days ago was actually your bill. You were the one that sponsored that bill.
Yes, sir.
And I want us to be sure that you are not trying to reverse your own bill.
No, sir.
Because I don't think your bill was talking about appointments. I think your bill was talking about recruitment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if your bill was talking about recruitment, which you moved here 2 days ago,
yes, sir,
it appears that you have not brought a constitutional provision to reverse the bill that you moved 2 days ago.
No, sir. The provision are the same. It's to strengthen the Police Act and the Police Service Commission bill, as well as the Constitution, so that the issue of conflict, sir, Nigeria are supposed to benefit from 10,000 recruitment of the police, but it was pushed to pause because of the contradiction in those provisions of 3 laws. So if we are to do police reform, the provision of the Police Act, as well as the Police Commission reform, including the Constitution, should be speaking to each other. So this is just a confirmation of the position of the bill that was passed separately 2 days ago.
Do you have the bill, Police Service Commission bill that was passed 2 days ago? Can you send for it? We'll finish it before we leave today. So just to be sure, so that we don't look like we don't know what we're doing. We'll step it down and take it today before we leave. Just let me quickly have a look at that. Yeah. The fourth order of the day is commencement of debate of the general principle of a bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to preserve the elections of candidates to the office of the President and Governor whose running mates are found to have defects in their qualifications, and for related matters stand in the name of Honorable Solomon T. Bob. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 29 September 2020, and I invite Honorable Bob to move that the bill be now read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Solomon Bob. I'm from Rivers State, and I represent Abua, Odua, and Ahoda East Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I stand to move that a bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to preserve the election of a candidate to the office of the President and Governor whose running mates are found to have defects in their qualifications. And for little matters, be read for the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Soro.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. My name is Mansour Manu Soro. I represent Darul Ganja Federal Constituency. I'm from Bauchi State. I rise to second the motion every put by my brother from River State, Honorable Solomon Bob. I so
Okay, Honorable Solomon, I think your bill is very clear. It speaks to live experiences we've had about 2-3 times. Do you want to flesh it out, or it's straightforward?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the fact that you have observed that the bill speaks for itself, and it doesn't call for any rigorous debate. We recently had an experience in one of the states where a candidate for governorship lost his ticket on the basis only of the fact that there was a defect in the documents submitted by his deputy. And my simple argument is that, that is unjust, it's unfair. In most cases, the allegations against the deputies border on crime. And like I've argued here in this debate, crime, as lawyers, we know that crime is personal. You cannot ascribe the crime of one person to another person. Most of the instances that have led to disqualification of the candidates border essentially on perjury, which is a crime, forgery, which is also a crime. And if you stretch the argument a bit, you found it to be totally illogical. Because if at the point of entry they say they have one joint ticket, then when they get in, it becomes separate tickets. The same persons who are inseparable at the point of entry become wholly separable. We see governors moving for the impeachment of deputies. We see presidents moving for their deputies' impeachment. In 2003 or so, President Obasanjo moved. In fact, he threw everything at his deputy, Atiku Abubakar, then, including everything.
Honorable Gagdi, can you approach the chair?
So he threw everything at his deputy.
Honorable Abonta.
To remove him. And we've seen instances to where governors have done the same and are doing the same. So I think that it's inconsistent and in fact illogical, both in fact and law, to have this as a basis for qualifying candidates for offices. So if my distinguished colleagues, accept this, I'm sorry, I'm not in the court of law. If they accept this as,
Section 6.
the matter that doesn't require any extra buttressing, I will thank them for that. Mr. Speaker, I don't have too many life instances to give, but I think that it basically speaks for itself. Thank you, sir.
All right, those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it.
Honorable Abonta, Honorable Gabdi, Honorable Kumo.
Okay, I think this matter is resolved on the last bill by Honorable. Well, before we move on, Honorable Bob's, yeah, we already put the question on Honorable Bob's, okay, so. Clerk, let's read the long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to preserve the election of candidates to the offices of the President and Governor whose running mates are found to have defects in their qualifications and for related matters. Second reading.
The bill is referred to the committee, the Special Ad hoc Committee on Review of the 1999 Constitution. Honorable colleagues, we've been able to clarify the issue, the bill brought by Honorable Gagdi. It seems to be consistent with the earlier Police Service Commission bill. So, Honorable Gagdi, I think you've rounded up. Yeah, so we'll just put the question, we'll go back to, what item was that? 3. Was it 3? Honorable Gagdi, okay. So we'll put the question, those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Matter referred to other committee. Can you please read the long title?
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended and for related matters. Second reading.
Fifth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish the National Border Academy in Ogun State to provide for teaching and research on borders and border governance and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Olaifa Jimo Aremu. Our members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 21st July 2020, and I invite Honorable Aremu to move that the bill be read the second time.
Thank you,
Yes.
Honorable Speaker. I rise to move that the bill for an act to establish the National Border Academy in Meko, Ogun State, to provide for teaching and research on borders and border governance and for related matters be read the second time. I so move.
Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable House, my name is Abdulgani Johnson. I represent the good people of Oshodi Solo Federal Constituency 2. I'm from Lagos. I rise to second the motion moved by my friend, so that the bill can be read the second time. I so move. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Gani Johnson. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clap.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish the National Border Academy in Meko, Ogun State, to provide for teaching and research on borders and border governance and for related matters. Second reading.
Okay, the bill is referred to the Committee on Security and Intelligence. Yes, thank you.
Respected colleagues, the sixth order of the day is the commencement of debate on the general principle of bill for an act to provide for the legal framework to establish Federal Medical Center, Fufu, Kwara State, to provide for the manner of running the hospital, including establishment of board of management, chief medical director, and other staff, and provide for the discipline of staff for related matters. Standing now on Abdul Ghani Cook Olododo. Honorable members will recall the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 27 November 2019. I now invite Honorable Olododo to move that the bill be read second time.
Made Olododo Cook Abdul Ghani, representing people of Ilori East, Ilori South Federal Constituency, and from State of Harmony, Kwara State. Mr. Speaker, I rise in front of you and other colleagues to lead debate on an act to provide the legal framework to establish the Federal Medical Center, Fufu, Kwara State, to provide for manner of running the hospital, including establishment of board of management, chief medical director and other staff, and to provide for discipline of staff and for related matter to be read for Secretary Asomusa.
Any seconder? Yes, distinguished honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Olaifajimo Aremu. I rise to second the motion as moved by Honorable Cook Olododo. I so second.
Honorable Cook and respected member, this is a vested vote bill. Do I put the question? Those in favor of the motion say aye. The bill is conscript, say aye. Those against say nay. That's have it. Clerk is invited to do the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to provide the legal framework to establish Federal Medical Center, Fufu, Kwara State, to provide for the manner of running the hospital, including establishment of board of management, chief medical director and other staff, and to provide for discipline of staff and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Health Institutions. Respected, the seventh order of the day is the commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to amend the Section 3 of the National Agency for the Great Green Wall Act by providing for registration of a council member by notice addressed to the minister and for notice and that the notice should take effect upon it being acknowledged by the minister. And for the later matter, standing in the name of Olufemi Bamidele, honorable members will call that the bill was read the first time on 28th February 2020. I now invite Honorable Adebanjo to move the bill read this second time. Yeah, request. Please, a request. Thank you.
I move a bill
for an act to be amended Section 3 of the National Agency for the Great Green Wall Act by providing the registration of a council member by notice addressed to the minister, and to the notice shall take effect upon its being acknowledged by the minister for related matters. I so move. Second time.
Any seconder? Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues. I remain Vincent Ekene Ofumelo. I represent Oyi Ayamelon Federal Constituency of Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by my colleague from Lagos. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Fellow colleagues, this is about protecting our environment. I believe it's a very safe bill and we all need it. We have put the question. Those in favor that the bill be read second and say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerks invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend Section 3 of the National Agency for the Great Green Wall Act by providing for resignation of a council member by notice addressed to the minister, and that the notice shall take effect upon its being acknowledged by the minister, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Environment. Respected colleagues, the eighth order of the day is the commencement of a debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to decriminalize the growth and use of cannabis, to establish a system for the registration and licensing of our cannabis growers, users, and control, to legalize the growth, sale, and use of cannabis, and set out a legal framework for the registration of licensing of cannabis growers and producers in Nigeria and for less matters. And in Honorable Onuaha Maria, honorable members who call the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 5th May 2020, and I invite Honorable Onuaha to read the second time. She's on the floor. Bill stepped down by the leave of the House. Respected colleagues, the ninth order of the day is a motion on need to track the construction of 35-kilometer stretch of Maiduguri, Jakana, Maiduguri, Damaturu Road, standing now on Honorable Ibrahim Bukar Mohammed. Honorable Mohammed is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ibrahim Mohammed Bukar, representing Nigerians staying in Dibba, Kondaga, and Mapapiro constituency. I'm from Borno Sesa. The urgent need to fast-track the construction of 35-kilometer stretch Maiduguri to Jakana along Kano-Damaturu Maiduguri Road. The House notes that Kano-Maiduguri is a federal road which passes through Auno and Jakana communities in Kondaga local government areas of Borno State. The House should also note that the contract for the construction of this particular road was awarded 10 years ago during the last administration to a Chinese construction company known as CCECC. But they failed to concentrate on the most dilapidated areas of the road, which is Maiduguri, Auno, Jakana. The House is also aware that the 35-kilometer Jakana, Auno, Maiduguri road is in a deplorable condition and adversely affect movements of commuters, and on several occasions, heavy-duty and articulated vehicles are trapped on the road, making it impossible for other road users to gain access to the state capital, which is Maiduguri. The House is so worried that the road is now in a very terrible condition and has become a death trap to both motorists and travelers, as Boko Haram insurgents have taken advantage of the bad road to attack innocent citizens going about their normal business. Concerned that if urgent attention is not given to the construction of the road by the Chinese construction company known as CCECC, Jacana, Auno, and Maiduguri will be totally cut off from other parts of the country. The House should resolve to urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to direct the Chinese contractors handling the project to commence immediate construction of the dilapidated areas of the road, which is Auno, Maiduguri, and Jacana. Second, to mandate the Committee on Works to ensure compliance and implementation. I so move, sir.
Seconder, Honorable Manu. Well, it's an infrastructure motion, but there's an amendment from on Mansur. On Mansur for amendment. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues. I remain Mansur Manu Soro. I represent Darul Benjua Federal Constituency. I am from Bauchi State.
Right.
Mr. Speaker, my amendment is to the effect that the House do mandate the Committee on Works to investigate the engineering delay in the completion of these very important projects and report back to the House in 6 weeks. I so amend.
2021 budget. Any seconder? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Kabir Idris, member representing Pura Madabigaram Malam Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kano State. I rise to support this very important amendment raised by Honorable Mansur Soro. I so support, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against say nay. That's have it. Second amendment from Honorable Zanna Usman.
Women.
Yeah. Honorable Speaker, I'm Honorable Usman Zanna, representing the people of Kagao, Gubioma, Gumeri Federal Constituency. I'm from Borno State. Mr. Speaker, this road passes through my constituency, and the worst part is the place mentioned in the motion. So my amendment is those. Where the contractor pays to commence the reconstruction of the affected area, within 3 months, the Federal Minister of Works should consider revoking the contract. Because we have to give them time.
I will plead with you to step down that amendment. Revoking has a lot of implications. I will plead with you. But if you want to take it, I will allow that.
But Mr. Speaker, the reason why I say this is, the road has been awarded for quite a long time, as stated in the motion. But that portion from Beni Sheikh, the local government headquarters, Beni Sheikh, to Maiduguri is 72 kilometers. And that road is bad. But the place he mentioned from Jacana to Maiduguri, from Jacana to Auno is not more than 20 kilometers. That's the most reason why
the amendment by Honorable Mansour has given you ample latitude because he has asked for investigation. Yes. It is only when you investigate that you will be able to understand what are the circumstances, and then you will be able to take a decision. So that we don't preempt the amendment he brought.
It's all right, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
I shall step down.
Thank you. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Motion referred to 11 committees of the House. Respected colleagues, the 10th order of the day is a motion on need to rehabilitate the Nnamdi Azikiwe Expressway Western Bypass in Kaduna South Federal Constituency. Standing now, Honorable Mukhtar Ahmed. Honorable Ahmed is invited to move the motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I am from the Center of Learning, Kaduna State. I represent Kaduna South Federal Constituency, and my name is Mukhtar Ahmed, politically known as Morovia. This motion is a motion that affects almost 60 to 70% of honorable members that are seated in this chamber, of the need to rehabilitate the Nnamdi Azikiwe Expressway called Western Bypass in Kaduna South Federal Constituency. The House should note that the Nnamdi Azikiwe Express Western Bypass in Kaduna was constructed over 40 years ago to ease traffic congestion for travelers commuting from the south to the northern part of Nigeria. Also, the House should note that the bad condition of the road is affecting the livelihood and economic activities of the people and is increasing the rate of criminal activities along the route, as well as being a death trap for road users. The House should also be aware of the need to rehabilitate the expressway to ensure safety of lives and properties, encourage socio-economic activities, and to ease movement within the state and across the country. The House should also be aware that Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, through the federal government tax credit scheme under Executive Order number 7 of 2019, endorsed the rehabilitation of the expressway to Dangote Group as one of the approved projects for 2019, but the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing is yet to approve the engineering design submitted by Dangote Group since January 2020. Cognizant that rehabilitation of the road will increase the level of safety for road users by reducing the rate of accident, insecurity, and boost economic activities, it hereby resolved that number 1, to urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to approve the design for rehabilitation on the road to commence. Number 2, also urge the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget, and National Planning to work with the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to expedite action to allow Dangote Group be mobilized to site. And finally, mandate the committees on works and legislative compliance to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Dennis Idahosa. I represent the good people of Ovia Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second.
Respected colleagues, this is an infrastructure-related motion, so I now put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Motion referred to 11 committees of the House. Respected colleagues, the 11th order of the day is a motion on need to investigate the state of documents management in Nigeria, standing in the name of Gaza John Befi. Honorable Befi is invited to move the motion.
Right Honorable Speaker,
honorable colleagues, my name is Gaza Jonathan Bethi, and I represent the people of Karu, Kefi, Kokona Federal Constituency of Nasarawa State. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move a motion on the need to investigate the state of document management in Nigeria. The House notes that information has always been a critical resource in the operation and management of any organization, without which no organization would be able to function optimally. The House also notes that organizational operations involve heavy use of files and sensitive documents. Therefore, proper document management will determine the efficiency of organizations, as timely accessibility to relevant information is vital for reference and research purposes. The House is cognizant that paperwork is becoming a major overhead for government organizations, with a large number of files growing per day, resulting in waste of time while searching for often misfiled, untracked, or lost information. The House is worried that ineffective document management in Nigeria has affected the efficiency of government and has led to huge waste in resources. The House therefore resolves to mandate the Committee on Legislative Library, Research and Documentation to investigate the state of document management in all government organizations to ensure that they are in line with global best practice and report back to the House within 8 weeks for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, Honorable Namdas. Request your mic.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abdurazak Namdas. I represent the good people of Ganye, Jada, Tongo, Mai, Belwa. I am from Adama State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Gaza. I so second.
And 1 minute, give us the synopsis of the motion.
Honorable, the motion is quite straightforward. You will agree with me that one of the most important things with regards to governance and organizational efficiency is how documents are being managed, how documents are being kept. Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, so much is being lost in terms of with relation to document management in Nigeria. You hear of fires happening in so many places and documents have been gulfed up in the fire. What has been or what is the state of those documents? Have they been adequately backed up? Do we have scenarios where retrieving information becomes very easy? How is document or how is information being shared within various ministries and arms of government in our country? Every day you see every Ghana must go bill pulled into the National Assembly. People suspecting it is money. But what we have are documents and papers that are being pulled in. How can we save government money instead of constant papers being used? Are there any options that are available? Furthermore, our reports, when we finish reports, how are these reports treated? Are they burnt, sensitive documents? Whereby you find where sensitive documents that have just been finished from a very important session are found in the hands of the general public, when these are documents that are supposed to be restricted. These are things that actually have brought about the need to investigate how documents are being managed. After they are being processed, how are they disposed of? From initiation, the whole cycle to disposal and archiving, so that we have a system that is airtight with regards to management of our documents and our information. This is a summary and synopsis of this motion. I so move.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Fataba Olushola, member representing Ado Ekiti, to represent the Felodu. I'm from Ekiti State. I rise to second the motion early moved by my colleagues. I so second. Thank you, sir.
Well, colleagues, this seems to be a very straightforward motion, but I'm confused as to how you are going to manage this particular motion from the information the mover of the motion has given us. But you are going to investigate how they are sharing information, how they are managing their information through the same process that you have passed the budget for the various agencies. Yes, sir.
As we speak right now, Right Honorable Speaker, there is a policy of government that was initiated by the head of service to see how document management can be streamlined and harmonized. The only arm of government that gives a viable platform that can bring all arms of government together is the legislative arm of government. There should be a minimum standard of best practice that each institution is operating with regards to management of their documents, filing of their documents, archiving of their documents, and disposal of their documents. We have an act on archiving. How many institutions of government actually archive their documents at the end of the day? Right Honorable Speaker, it will shock you. Coming back home to the National Assembly, at a point in time, the Hansards with regards to movement of doctrine of necessity were needed. What did it take to bring out this particular document? There is a need to make sure that the various levels involved in document management are strictly adhered to. Don't forget that it's the capacity to store your document that brings about a rich history. It is from these documents that you're able to get the historical background of any nation. You go to developed countries, Right Honorable Speaker, you see that documents are given pride of place. But in a country like Nigeria, you go to some places, you're even buying akara by the roadside, and when you unfold the document that akara has put in, you might even find an approval that was given from him by a ministry. Are these things supposed to happen this way? No. There are ways that documents have to be treated when they are used and how they should be subsequently disposed of. On another note, which is all part of document management, Right Honorable Speaker, there should be a standard platform in which information can be moved around, not necessarily referring to the content of the information, no, but the movement of the information. By now, the National Assembly should be at a level whereby electronically documents can be posted to us, and we use, just like in the spirit of the 9th Assembly, where we have gone e-parliament, where documents can be deposited to us electronically, not by moving sacks. And if you have one general platform that all ministries are operating on, you have a seamless flow of information. I believe there is need for us to be able to establish that best practice and have a minimum standard on which the whole platform can be built on. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I think, well, the motion is well intended, but is what I am a bit not clear with is the deliverables. Which institutions
shall be the subject of interrogation to enable them bring to the fore the intentions and the efficiency that is being expected. In this, if for instance we say, let us investigate the status of our national institutions, such as national libraries, national archiving institutions, and the efficiency and how they can get some leverage in management. But if we leave it so global, it might look like, oh, you have to be talking to everybody. So my own thinking is that if you can chisel it to a point that the target institutions would be very clear, and then the mission and the deliverables are going to be clear, I think that will help in clarifying that information.
I don't know. So that we do not go backward. I want us to do things that we should be able to have an impact into our own various arms of government. When you put a motion like that is very wide, and starting from our institutions here, I don't know which committee now you will ask them tomorrow, when they are the ones who are writing to the institutions, to give us in hard copy, this one a soft copy. Are you now going to begin to curtail that one? Because the management has to start from somewhere. I don't know, it is so wide. The motion is so wide. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. Let's have it. Respected colleagues, the 12th order of the day is a motion on calling for the transfer of ownership of food crops production technology transfer station. Dan Kano and Tiga Dam. Tiga of the Federal College of Agricultural Production Technology Kano standing in no one of Bana Gundi. Dan Gundi is inviting to the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Munir Bambada Nabundi. I represent Kumbodo Federal Constituency of Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I rise with other 4 colleagues, Honorable Hafiz Ibrahim Hafiz Kaw and Honorable Alasan Garba Alasa Ado and Honorable Alasa Rurum and Honorable Kabir Idris to move a motion call for transfer of ownership of the food crops technology, production technology transfer station, Dan Hassan, Kano and Tiga Fish Farm to the Federal College of Agricultural Produce Technology, Kano. The House notes that the existence of Federal College of Agricultural Produce Technology, Kano, which is under the supervisory control of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, also notes that the college runs higher national diploma and national diploma courses for farmers, rural women, as well as cooperative groups in the area of post-harvest handling technologies. Further notes that the programs being run by the college have contributed in improving agricultural productivity, not only in the northwest, but also in the northeast and north central zones of the country. Aware that
the food crops production technology transfer station at Anhasan, Kano, and Tiga Fish Farm have a nexus in terms of services in agricultural production processes in Nigeria. Concerned that the Federal College of Agricultural Produce Technology, Kano, is currently facing some challenges in terms of inadequate space for staff offices, laboratories, animal feeds, grazing padlocks, and fish ponds, etc. Also aware that the food crops production technology transfer station, Anhasan, and Tiga Fish Farm have facilities needed for the operation of the Federal College of Agricultural Produce Technology, such as office facilities, staff quarters, farm workshops, and equipment, which are abundant. Cognizant of the need to put the equipment to use, hence the call to transfer the ownership of the food crops production technology transfer station, Anhasan, Kano, and Tiga Fish Farm to the Federal College of Agricultural Produce Technology, Kano. Also cognizance of that the transfer of the above-mentioned institutions to the Federal College of Produce Technology, Kano, will enable the college to train and empower different categories of farmers and students. Resolved to 1. Urge the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to transfer the ownership of the food crops technology, production technology transfer station, Anhasan, and Tiga Fish Farm to the Federal College of Agricultural Produce Technology, Kano. 2. Mandate the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions and Legislative Compliance to ensure implementation. I so move.
Seconder. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, I'm Honorable Abbas Adigun. I represent Ibadan Southeast, Ibadan Northeast Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable Munyeru from Kano State. I so second. Thank you, sir.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the 13th order of the day is a motion on need to construct a road to Southern Ijo Federal Constituency, standing in the name of Honorable Prei Oseke. Honorable Oseke is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'm Honorable Prei Oseke, representing Southern Ijo Federal Constituency. I'm from Bayelsa State. I rise to move a motion on the need to construct a road to Southern Ijo Federal Constituency. The House are aware that Southern Ijo Federal Constituency is an area covering one of the 8 local government areas, which records an average crude oil production rate of 171,000 barrels per day. Also aware of the contributions of the John Nation to the oil revenue of the country and the absence of government presence, particularly lack of motorable roads and the devastating effects of oil production, exploration and exploitation, which have made life unbearable for the farming communities.
Cognizant that the urgent intervention of the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing in providing roads will help in integrating the communities and galvanizing the socio-economic activities of the people. Worried that the absence of roads in 113 communities out of 115, 15 autonomous communities in Southern Niger Federal Constituency is leading to perpetual backwardness for the people of the Federal Constituency. Further worried that though Southern Niger Federal Constituency is an area covering the largest and most populated of the 8 local government areas in Bayelsa State, with only 2 communities, Anyama and Amasoma, out of the 115 communities connected by road to the state capital, Yenegua, and by implication to other neighboring states. Concerned that despite the enormous contribution of Southern Niger Federal Constituency to the Federation account, 98.26% of the communities still remain inaccessible by roads. Further aware that the entire Federal Constituency could be linked by a single road called the Southern Niger Federal Road, connecting Ibeni, Akede, Ogbembri, Barang, Kokulugbene, Apoy, Okubie, Lobia, Kulama, Forpa is a 2-section, and the Oporoma, Ondeware, Ologbobri, Ikebri, Kuluama, and Kokrose, Ikembri Link Road, the Anyama, Igebri, Ineware, Opuama section, Oporoma, Oyima, Ekewe, Permabri Link section, and the Oporoma, Otuan, Ikibri, Owekure Link roads. Informed that the communities being predominantly riverine, the said road, when constructed, will be very pivotal to the transportation of humans, goods, and services, thereby making it strategic for the local inhabitants as well as multinational oil companies such as Nigerian Archip Oil Company, Chevron Limited, Shell Petroleum Development Company, Corn Oil, among others operating in the area. Cognizant that the Yenegua-Upuama-Permabri Road, abandoned by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, was to converge at Permabri, giving accessibility to the Permabri rice farm, which, if reconstructed, can generate enormous wealth and employment for the teeming unemployed youths of Southern Niger Federal Constituency. The House resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to include the Southern Niger Road project in any subsequent budget proposal. Also urge multinational companies operating in Southern Niger Federal Constituency to adopt the construction of the aforementioned road as part of their corporate social responsibility, as is the norm globally. Mandate the Committee on Works to interface with relevant agencies of government to ensure that the Southern Niger Road project is accorded priority attention it deserves. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Respected colleagues, Honorable Jafar Abubakar Magaji is my name. I represent Mubi North, Mubi South, and my federal constituency of Adamawa State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by honorable colleagues. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, amendment?
Amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, if we look at this motion, it's a good motion. It's motion for the community. But if I may kindly advise my honorable member, considering the load work on the Federal Ministry of Works, and we know the challenges they face, the easy, low-hanging fruit is to urge the NDDC, to take up this project and get it done. If we put it under the Federal Ministry of Works, I'm not thinking whether I'm not saying whether they can not do this job, but this job will be another white elephant. We will rather urge the NDDC to take up this job rather than Federal Ministry of Works. If at all my honorable colleagues want this job to be done. I so move my.
Any seconder? Any seconder? Yes, sir. Buraji.
Speaker, my highly respected colleagues, I remain Honorable Mohamed Buraji Kadori. I rise to second the amendment heavily moved by Honorable, my colleague, I so second.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Motion referred to the relevant committees of the House. Respected colleagues, the 14th order of the day is a motion on need to construct bridge in Umweze community to alleviate economic hardship of the people standing now. Honorable Dennis Idahosa. Honorable Idahosa is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Dennis Idahosa. I represent the good people of Ovia Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Edo State. I rise to move a motion on the need to construct a bridge in Umaza community to elevate the economic hardship of the people. The House notes that farming is an alternative means of economic growth in Nigeria, where the major means of revenue is simply not enough to sustain the country. The House also notes that Umaza community, Umaza ward in Ojumu community in Ovian Southwest, Ovia Federal Constituency, is an agrarian community which contributes to the agricultural and economic advancement of the state in particular, as well as the nation in general. Further note that the economic growth and livelihood of these members of this community are threatened because of the absence of Okwa River Bridge, which is the route connecting the communities and 47 other communities. The House is concerned that the absence of a functional bridge has led to the loss of lives of the members of this community while trying to earn their livelihood. The House is cognizant of the need to urgently construct a bridge in Umaza community to elevate economic hardship of those living in that area. The House resolves to urge the Ministry of Works and Housing to commence the construction of Okwa River Bridge, and also mandate the committees on works and legislative compliance to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, sir. Your request again.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Respected colleagues, I remain Honorable Abbas Adigun. I represent the people of Ibadan Northeast, Ibadan Southeast Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Oyo State. I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable colleague. I so move. Thank you. I so second. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the 15th order of the day is a motion on need to lift the embargo on employment in the federal ministries, departments, and agencies, and the private sector to eliminate the effect of COVID-19 pandemic in the country. Standing now, Honorable Sani Bala. Honorable Sani Bala is invited to move the motion. Motion step down by the leader of the House. Respected colleagues, The 16th order of the day is a motion on need to investigate the lack of transparency in the transfer of technical know-how from Cotecna Destination Inspection Limited to Global Scan System Limited, standing in the name of Honorable Leki Abaji. The Abaji invited the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Leki Abaji, this is my name. I represent the good people of the Agua Federal constituency. I'm from Kogi State. I rise to move the motion on the need to investigate the lack of transparency in the transfer of technical know-how from Cotecna Destination Inspection Limited to Global Scan System Limited. The House notes that the Committee on Customs and Excise embarked on a week-long oversight of Zone A of Nigeria Customs Service to ascertain the level of revenue generation and also to find out their challenges in order to find a way of addressing them through the custom budget of 2021. Also know that the committee undertook a visit to all command and discovered anomalies that, if not tackled, the Nigerian ports will remain at the risk of imminent collapse. Appalled at non-functional scanners rotting away at the ports, which were meant to detect arms and ammunition concealed in containerized cargoes, further putting the country at risk of unabated security risk. Aware that in 2006, Nigeria acquired cargo scanners worth more than $120 million and retained the service providers on build, own, operate, and transfer terms. The contract also provided that the service providers were to provide training services and technical support to Nigeria Customs Service on risk management, valuation, and classification. By end of 2013, the transition process from Cotecna, SGS, and Global Scan System, the transfer service provider were completed and scanners handed over to Nigeria Customs Service. Also aware that the modernization in Nigeria Customs Service did not last very long. As a year after the handover, the scanners had stopped functioning. And Nigerian ports, borders, towns, border stations were once again returned to analog era of 100% physical examination. Further aware that scanners which were installed at various custom operation locations such as Tinkan Island Port, Apapa Port, Port Harcourt Area 1 Command, Onne Port, Aminu Kano International Airport, Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, Seme, and Idiroko borders. The Seme and Idiroko borders, Port Harcourt and Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport here in Abuja, among others, are today littered with non-functioning scanners, an indication that the service providers must have handed over 40 scanners to the Nigeria Customs Service. Recall that the Smith-Hellman, that is the original manufacturer of the scanner, installed and managed these multinational scanners by Cotecna has not put into use since 2015, when the contract with the firm was revoked and re-awarded to Nigeria firm, Global Scan System. Alarmed that only about 40 to 60 containers are physically examined at Apapa Port daily, while between 50 to 70 are examined daily at Tinkan Island Port, but an installed scanner can take up to 150 containers daily. concerned that with physical examinations, importers, containers spend weeks at the nation's seaport over delayed clearance, such that other containers now spend months to be cleared due to delay. Also concerned that this development has no doubt increased the cost for importers, estimated to running into millions of losses by businesses because they pay rent to terminal operators and demurrage to shipping companies for not clearing their goods within a specified time as a result of slow and cumbersome nature of inspection of containers at the seaport due to lack of scanners. Recalls that through such physical examination, the Tican Island Command of Nigeria Customs in 2016 intercepted some rivals, military gas masks, ammunition, military kits, caps, boots, which were concealed under the guise that they were personal effects. The command likewise intercepted 470 pump action rifles in 2017 as a result of 100% physical examination, which scanner would have done better if they were in use. Worried that there are a lot of intricacies and perplexities in the transfer of scanners from the original manufacturer, Smith Detection, Techna Destination Inspection Limited, to Global Scan System, which led to the total collapse of the multinational dollar scanners, which, according to the committee's finding, are better in standard than the scanners that are found in Port of Doha in Qatar. Cognizant that if the scanners were properly managed or maintained, it could last for 30 years. Resolved to urge the federal government to provide viable scanners for Nigerian ports and border stations, and in the process also involve relevant stakeholders such as Nigeria Customs Service and the Nigerian Port Authority from inception of negotiation. 2, and finally, sir, Honorable colleague, Mr. Speaker, mandate the Committee on Custom and Excise to investigate the area of scanners in Nigeria, the contracts, management, cancellation, re-award, and operation, which led to the total collapse of the multi-million-dollar scanners in the seaports and border stations, and report to the House within 6 weeks for legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Kalu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Benjamin Okezie Carlo. I represent the good people of Nigeria, starting from Ben, the Federal Constituency. I'm from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to support this motion. Very important motion. Very relevant motion. When we talk about post-COVID economic recovery of our nation, one of the things that we must consider is the speed for such recovery. And granted, there are so many other reasons why the delay
I thought you were seconding the motion.
Mr. Speaker, the importance of this motion led me to begin to lead the debate. But may I second? Let me second to enable him discuss it further. I rise to second. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The Spirit Quality is the best step for motion, and I believe it will improve our security, economic enhancement in terms of what should come into the country. So I now put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Motion referred to the relevant committees of the House. The Spirit colleagues, The 16th order of the day is a motion on the urgent need to save the bridge linking Odowa community in HA local government area of River State and Owaza community in Okwa local government area of Abia State from collapse. Standing in the name of Honorable Ephraim. Honorable Ephraim is invited into the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. I am Honorable Ephraim Musi, senior brother to those who are defected to APC after my defection. I speak for people of Echi, Amoma Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from River State. My motion is on the urgent need to save the bridge linking Odogwa community in the Echi local government area of River State and Owaza community in Okwa local government of Abia State from total collapse. The House note that the major route that connects the people of Odogwa community in the Echi local government area of River State and Owaza community in Okwa local government of Abia State is in a terrible and deplorable state such that the people are being subjected to untold hardship due to the bad condition of the road. Aware that the bridge linking the two states was constructed with metals during the colonial era in the 1960s without modern facilities and needs immediate intervention to save the bridge from total collapse and avert human danger. Also aware that the discovery, production, and exploration of crude oil, including natural gas, have brought about tremendous transformation of the social, economic, and environmental landscape of the local communities, such that economic activities and vehicle traffic are on the high side. Concerned that if steps are not taken to restore the interstate road linking Odogwa community in Echi local government area of River State and Owaza community in Okwa local government of Abia State, there will be a great downturn of economic activities and interstate movement within the route. Worried that the dilapidated road and failing bridge have negatively affected economic activities of both the people of the two states and the major oil and gas companies carry out production and processing activities. Resolve, 1, to urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to conduct an impact assessment on the bridge with a view to reconstruct the bridge linking Odogwa community in Echi, LGA, and Owaza in Okwa local government of Abia State to ameliorate the suffering of the people. 2, and the last, mandate the Committee on Works and Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Seconder. Yes, sir. Doctor.
I think so. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me the floor to second this very important motion. I am Honorable Zainab Gimba. I represent Bama Galakala Belge Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. I rise to second this motion heavily moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Amendment. Honorable Sada.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Sada Soli Jibia. Mr. Speaker, I have sympathy for Eche people. I know the place, I know the bridge. I have been to that place, 1994. I know that place very well. I have been to their chief there in Eche. But I want this bridge to be built. Federal Ministry of Works, Mr. Speaker, let's call a spade a spade. They will not do this job. I'm a member of the Committee on Works. I know how much untold job they have.
Amendment.
My take here is, Mr. Speaker, let's urge the NDDC. NDDC is going through some revolution. They have woken up from the slumber they have suffered from. Let's urge them. And incidentally, the member who moved this motion is a member of the committee on NDDC. So let's urge NDDC to put it in their 2021 budget. And then, yes, Mr. Speaker, it's possible. And then also urge them to ensure compliance on the directives of the House. This is an exit and more path to getting this job done, Mr. Speaker. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Sorry.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My respected colleagues, I still remain Honorable Abbas Adigun. I represent the people of Southeast Northeast Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion amendment made by Honorable Sada Ali. I so second.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. But what is the problem? The 18th order of the day is a motion on need to address the lack of synergy and unhealthy rivalry among security agencies in Nigeria. Standing in the name of Honorable Abbas Adegun. Honorable Adegun is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, our able speaker. Speaker. Honorable Speaker. And my respected colleagues, I still remain Honorable Abbas Adigun. I speak for the people of Ibadan Northeast, Ibadan Southeast Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm from Oyo State. We all know that anything pertaining to security in our country is always something that I always like to involve, just because I serve and I retired from the United States Navy. So this motion is very, very important. How I wish that our member are in the chamber now to be able to pass this motion very well. I rise to move the motion on the need to address the lack of synergy and unhealthy rivalry among security agencies in Nigeria. House notes that the violent conflict among security operatives that have over the years become a current decimal in inter-agency relations in Nigeria. Also note that for more than 2 decades, hardly a year without recording violence clashes between the security operative, particularly between personnel of the Nigerian Army and Nigerian Police Force. Further note that other security operative and paramilitary organizations in Nigeria have been caught in the web of violent clash over the years. Aware that interagency fear in Nigeria have exposed the country and their citizens to perpetual threats and insecurity. Also aware that without synergy and effective collaboration among security agencies, the security challenges in the country will remain unbeaten. Cognizant that failure of security operatives to address some of the doubting security challenges of Nigeria is due to lack of synergy between them. Concern that security operatives, rather than explore avenue of collaboration in security provision, capacity building, and sharing the intelligence reports, have over the years been edified with unhealthy rivalry. Worry that intra-agency discipline and interagency esprit de corps appear to be on decline, and this could be detrimental to the security of the country. Also worry that recent events in the country, particularly in Taraba, Kaduna, and Ebonyi State, where soldiers and the police were engaged in clash in a frontier to the fact that there are still traces of disharmony, lack of cooperation, and synergy in operation and information management among security agencies. Resolve to urge the federal government to put the necessary machinery in places to ensure collaboration among the security agencies in Nigeria to achieve national security. Number two, also urge the various security agencies to train and educate their personnel on a frequent basis to the need to see other security agencies as partners in the fight against insecurity. The last, further urge the National Security Advisor to ensure that the leadership of the various security agencies inculcate discipline among their personnel. Honorable Speaker, my colleague, I so move. Thank you, sir.
Seconder. Deputy Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Vincent Ekene Ofumelo, member representing the good people of Oyi and the Ayamelon Federal Constituency of Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the important motion that is heavily moved by my colleagues. The motion is very important to the Federation because it's a security nation. And I second the motion Thank you. I seek for your protection, Mr. Speaker. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues.
I thought this is a very straightforward motion. No. Let's listen to the chairman. At least they are here. Part of those who are numbers. It's important.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Abdrazak Namdas. I represent the people of Ganye, Jada, Tongoma, Belwa. I am from Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I want to support this motion. However, I have some observations or contributions to make. Mr. Speaker, it is true that we have clashes sometimes between the security agencies, not only Nigerian police and the army. In fact, civil defense, police, SSS, EFCC, we have been having these clashes all over. But Mr. Speaker, I want to state very clearly that I think we in the National Assembly have a very serious role to play. There is what is called overlapping mandate, Mr. Speaker. Overlapping mandate in the sense that the Police Act of 2020, the one we just passed, 2020, Mr. Speaker, Section 4 of it says that the police have the right to enforce all laws irrespective of any law of any security agency. Meaning that the police is the superpower in terms of enforcement of laws. So if you have EFCC doing a particular role or the army doing a particular role,
this section 4 of the Police Act of 2020 says that the police has the right to do all. It means if you find the police doing the role of an army or of the EFCC of anything, that section empowers him to do so. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm saying that I think either the executive will have a way of finding up to the National Assembly so that we can be able to work on some of these acts. And secondly, the National Security Act says that the National Security Advisor can coordinate all the activities of security agencies. So I think in his prayers, there's a need for us to say, just like prayer 1, sorry, Mr. Speaker, prayer 1, which says, urge the federal government to put necessary machinery. I think we can just say, urge the National Security Advisor to put necessary machinery in place to ensure collaboration among security agencies. Because the National Security Advisor is having the coordinating role of all the security agencies, including the army, the police, and what have you. So they should be able to be specific in trying to protect to avoid the crisis. I so contribute, Mr. Speaker.
Gudaji. No, he should bring his amendment. Gudaji.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my highly respected colleagues. I remain Honorable Mohammed Gudaji Kazaure, member representing Kazaure, Roni, Wiwa, and Enkwashi, Mr. Speaker, and from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, this motion is very important because considering the situation, the security situation of this country, Mr. Speaker, seriously, we have to call the security into order, because there was a time when I went and sat with the military, Air Force, and others because of this type of clashes, which made them there is no synergy. If there is good synergy between our security agencies in this country, what is going in the country will not supposed to happen. More especially, look at what happened in Katsina. It's serious embarrassment to our security agencies in this country. Such this thing is happening in the city of Katsina. Because, Mr. Speaker, seriously, if we never raise up, Mr. President appointed these people, provide money to the security in this country, provide everything for them, but there is no synergy between them to coordinate and operate well. We are spending our money for nothing because every day insecurity is increasing in this country, and that is, we supposed, Mr. President, and we, this House, we're supposed to meet Mr. President. We invite Mr. President, he never comes. We're supposed to meet him and tell him what is going in the security issues in this country. These people, they're supposed to go, let him bring another people so that the security architecture should be changed. Because if you leave these people, still insecurity is increasing. Of these people, they're supposed to bring security in this country. Since they never bring the security, let them go and bring another people. We test them, we try them, they never bring change. So seriously, Mr. Speaker, this lack of synergy between the security agencies is the main purpose that there was a time in Metele when the commander texted me a message that Boko Haram are coming to attack them. They call Air Force to reinforce them. Air Force tell them that, Mr. Army, we have to take command from Abuja. That is our flight, we can use our jet. Lack of that, they come and kill almost 300 officers there, cutted away all the arms, which is one of the most embarrassed to the Nigerian army in the history of Nigeria, that killing the whole unit because of why? if a can reach that place in 15 minutes to save our people, but they didn't come because there is no synergy. Seriously, Mr. Speaker,
thank you, Honorable.
There is no synergy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think it's not open for debate. I want to believe it's a security situation in the country. And the motion is quite very apt. It has captured virtually everything. And the amendment coming from Honorable Namdas has captured those areas of loopholes that possibly could be a lacuna in terms of sorting out the issues. So I would rather ask Namdas to move for his amendment, and then we have seconder and we'll take the question. Yes, Namdas.
Honorable Speaker, once again, my name is Abdurazak Namdas. I represent Ganye Jadatongo Maibran from Adama State. My amendment, Mr. Speaker, is to urge the National Security Advisor in line with National Security Act to coordinate the security agencies in a manner to provide synergy and cooperation among them. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. I'm Honorable Fatoba Olushola Steve, member representing Ado-Ekiti, Ireport Ifelodu Federal Constituency. I'm from Ekiti State. I rise to second the amendment ably moved by my senior honorable colleagues.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against say nay. That is it. Those in favor of the motions amended say aye. Those against say nay. That is it. Respected colleagues, the 19th order of the day is consideration of the report of the Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission on the issue from the Statutory Revenue Fund of the Niger Delta Development Commission, a total sum of 453,200 million naira only, of which the sum of 27,389 million naira only is for personal expenditure, 13,937,244,107 naira only is for overhead expenditure, 2,793,755,893 naira only is for national internal capital. 409,881 million only is for development projects for the period ending on 31st December 2021. Honourable members will recall that the report was laid on Thursday, 17 December 2020. Honourable Ubumi Tunji is required to move for the consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Ubumi Tunjojo. I represent the good people of Akoko Northeast, Akoko Northwest Federal Constituency from the Sunshine State of Ondo. Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, on the issue from the Statutory Revenue Fund of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, the total sum of 453,200 million naira only, of which the sum of 27,389 million naira only is for personnel expenditure, 13,937,240, 13,937,244,107 naira only is for overhead expenditure. 2,753,755,883 naira only is for internal capital. 409,080 million naira only is for development projects. for the period ending on 31st March 2021. I hereby move for this report to be considered. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the privilege.
Seconder. Honorable Boma, I thought you don't want the budget for the... Oh. Second. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A warm afternoon to my honorable colleagues. I'm Honorable Boma Gude, representing Akokotora Territorial Federal Constituency. I stand to second the motion moved by Honorable Tunji Ojo. I say second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the 12th order of the day, the 28th order of the day is a resumption of consideration of a bill for an act to provide for the protection of plant varieties, establish a plant variety protection office for the promotion of increased staple crop production in small-holder farmers in Nigeria and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that on Tuesday, 1st December 2020, the House, in the Committee of the Whole, considered and approved clauses 1 to 4, sub 1, and adjourned for constitution of the report. I now invite Honorable Manir Agundi to move for the constitution of the for the resumption of the consideration of the bill.
I represent Umbota Federal Constituency of Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I move that for the consideration of a bill for an act to provide for the protection of plant varieties, establish a plant variety protection office for the promotion of increased staple crop productivity for smallholder farmers in Nigeria and for other related matters. I so move.
Seconder. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Rep. Ibrahim Ayokunle Isiaka. I represent the very good people before I wait for federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion for repeal as ably moved for consideration by Honorable Munir. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Are you concosia? Thank you. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. Say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the 21st order of the day is a consideration of a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Army University Bill to make comprehensive provision for its management and administration and for related matters. Honourable members recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Thursday, 3rd December 2020. The House leader will move for the consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My distinguished colleagues, I'm Comrade Peter Ohionzoja Patterson, MNI. I represent the great people of Akogwedo Federal Constituency. I am from Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I move that a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Army University Bill to make comprehensive provisions for its management and administration and for related matters be considered. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder. Yes, sir.
I am Honorable Amadi Dennis, member representing the Federal Constituency of Enugu State. I rise to second The motion moved. Leader accordingly. I so second.
In favor of the motion, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Respected colleagues, the 22nd order of the day is the consideration of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of a National Transport Commission as an independent multimodal modal regulator for the regulated transport industry sector and for related matters. All members recall that the bill was committed to Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 9 December. The House Leader is invited to move for its consideration.
Hello, okay. Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. I remain Comrade Peter and the Jack Party in MNI, representing Akokwedo people from Edo State. I move for the consideration of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of National Transport Commission as an independent multimodal regulator for the regulated transport industry sector and for related matters, HB 1082. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, Honorable Toby. Honorable Toby.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I second the motion moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Respectfully, the 23rd order of the day is the consideration of a bill for an act to repeal the National Health Insurance Scheme Act, Cap N42, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the National Health Insurance Authority Bill 2020 and for related matters. Honorable members recall the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 9 December 2020. The House Leader is invited to move for its consideration.
Yeah, once again, Mr. Speaker, I move for the consideration of a bill for an act to repeal the National Health Insurance Scheme Act, Cap N42, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 204, and to enact the National Health Insurance Authority Bill 2020 and for related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, Acting Minority Whip. Yes, I thought that you are seated. Look,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues. Once more, I remain Honorable Barrister Vincent Ekene Ofumelu.
So that we can.
I represent the good people of Oyi, and I am in federal constituency of Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise the motion as moved by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Which one?
Thank you, honorable Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues.
It is automatic in the absence of the Speaker, the Deputy President, not that one. It's the consideration of the report that I will so that we do Committee of the Whole and do. Thank you. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Chairman, move for the suspension of our rules so that we move into the Committee of Supply, at the same time Committee of the Whole to consider the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I represent Borneo Agrika Samaguri Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that we do suspend all relevant rules to enable a combined sitting
of Committee of Supply and Committee of the Whole. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Seconder, Leader.
It's not working yet. Okay. Mr. Speaker, I second the motion that the House that will suspend the rules to enable the House to concurrently, dissolve into a Committee of the Whole and Committee of Supply. I so move. So second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader moved that we dissolve into the Committee of the Whole and Supply to consider the reports.
House do resolve to Committee of Whole and Supply to consider reports. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Benjamin Okizie Carlo. I represent the good people of Nigeria, starting from Bende Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Abia State. I rise to support the motion moved by the Leader of the House, that the House retire to Committee of the Whole and Supply. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Resolve the Committee of Supply and Committee of the Whole to consider the reports. Respected colleagues, the report to be considered is that of the Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission on the issue from the Statutory Revenue Fund of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, the total sum of 453 billion 200 million naira only, of which the sum of 27 billion 89 million naira only is for personal expenditure. 13 billion 937 million 244,107 naira only is for overhead expenditure. 2 billion 793 million 755,893 naira only is for internal capital. $409 billion 800 million naira only is for the development projects for the period ending 31st December 2021. Honorable Olubimi Tunji Ojo will give the synopsis of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Upon referral, my name is Honorable Olubimi Tunji Ojo. I represent the people of Akoko Northeast Northwest Federal Constituency from the Sunshine State of Ondo. Mr. Speaker, upon referral, the committee carried out its legislative mandate on the budget proposal and noted that the developmental aspect of the budget is basically a rollover of the 2019 budget, which is in furtherance of the drive to ensure completion of ongoing projects. On the revenue projections of the Commission, 81 billion naira only was earmarked as statutory contribution by the federal government to the NDDC. Since the proposed federal government contribution for year 2020 is higher than the amount approved by the National Assembly for the same year, the committee adopted 63 billion 506 million 151,945 naira only, which is the figure reflected in the Appropriation Act 2020. Furthermore, the sum of 100 billion naira reflected as unpaid arrears by the federal government was not considered as part of the Commission's revenue projection by the committee because the amount was not approved in the 2020 Appropriation Act by the National Assembly. However, the Commission disclosed that revenue inflow from oil companies / NLNG and others exceeded what was projected, prompting an increase in the revenue projection for that sector from 200 billion naira to 317 billion 493,848,055 naira only. The committee adopted the submission of the Commission on personnel expenditure of 27 billion 389 million naira only, overhead expenditure of 13 billion 937 million 244,107 naira only, internal capital of 2 billion 793 million 755,893 naira only, and the budget for developmental projects 409 billion 80 million naira only. The total budget for 2020 is therefore 453 billion 200 million naira only. The Senate Committee on Niger Delta and the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC unanimously resolved to recommend that the lifespan of the budget be extended to enable the Commission to achieve full implementation accordingly. The 2020 NDDC budget is recommended to elapse on the 31st of March 2021. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate you most sincerely for the privilege.
Chairman now, not Speaker. Thank you. Colleagues, with your kind permission, because we have lots of work to do and the year is almost coming to close, we all require these bills that we have brought in for consideration so that at least the institutions can function. And so we require this one to be passed. I would request that we just go to the summary, if you, with your kind permission and understanding. Thank you. The current expenditure, personal overhead, costs, and internal capital. Chairman's office, 348 million 656,952 naira. Carried. Managing Director's Office, 815 million 38,325 naira. Carried. Executive Director's Finance and Administration Office, 504 million 290,298 naira. Carried. Director's Projects, 896 million the eyes are going. 596 million 114,651 naira. Carried. Security Department, 1 billion 87,972,498 naira carried. Corporate Affairs Department, 900,310,393 naira carried. 293 million naira carried. Public Procurement Unit, 336,770,588 naira carried. Audit Department, 422,575,451 naira carried. Director of Commercial and Industrial Development, 471,245,798 naira carried. Of Education, Health and Social Services, 692,815,738 naira carried. Director of Agriculture and Fisheries, 460,739,114 naira carried. Of Environmental Protection and Control, 541,953,342 naira carried. Director of Utilities, Infrastructural and Development and Waterways, 536,512,000 naira 699 naira carried. Director of Youth, Sports, Culture and Women Affairs, 637,151,000 naira 942 naira carried. Respectively, Design Department, 267,183,590 naira carried. Department, 211,688,789 naira carried. Structural Technology Department, 380,214,458 naira carried. Public-private partnership, 240,228,076 naira carried. Servacom, 251,428,347 naira carried. Headquarters, 4,915,211,201 naira carried. Community and Rural Development, 594,458,131 naira carried. Director of Project Monitoring and Supervision, 707,551,597 naira carried. Finance and Supply, 860,465,319 naira carried. Director of Admin, 2,201,308,870 naira carried. Human Resources, 581 million, 8 billion, sorry. Say 581, 84 million, 670 carried. 76, sorry. Director of Planning, Research, Statistics and Management Information System, 913,809,128 naira carried. Legal services 1,236,795,292 naira carried. IBR State Project Office 468,920,985 naira carried. Akwa Ibom Office 658 naira carried. 746,257,474 naira carried. Cross River State Office 517,508,402 naira carried. Delta State Office 823,538,182 naira carried. Edo State Office 443,977,526 naira carried. Is that what I have here? 43,077,526 naira. Thank you. Imo State Office 454,288,921 naira carried. Ondo State Office 573,219,094 naira carried. River State Office 865,764,567 naira carried. Boma carried. Abuja Liaison Office 521,790,394 naira carried. Design Department 38. Provision for 8 board members 1 billion 308,737,938 naira carried. Other personal cost do we go to the final summary? 44 billion 120 million naira carried. Project Development Department and expenditure 409 billion 80 million naira carried. 53 million billion 200 million carried. I think that's all. Thank you. Most welcome. Respected colleagues, the first report to be considered is the bill for an act to provide for the protection of plant varieties, establish a plant variety protection office for the promotion of increased staple crop production for smallholders farmers in Nigeria and for related matters. All members recall that on the 1st December 2020, the House on the Committee of the Whole considered and approved Constitutions 1 to 4.1 and a joint consideration for the report from one. I now invite Gunti to give us the synopsis of the report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Chairman. Yes, I said earlier in the last consideration, and as you directed, that this bill is not something that will be taken, it wasn't the agency Nigerian State Council that will be housed there, and it is all about to increase the productivity in agriculture.
I thought what you should tell us from where we stop,
yes.
we are able to carry out the instruction of the House in terms of realizing to go and clean up those areas of conflict and misgivings. Yes. These are what we expect from you. Were you able to do that?
Yes, we did that.
So that we do not waste time.
Give me that. Yes, we stop at number 4.
Yes.
Yes, and that has been effected. And we came to even explain to you that this bill is not something that will attract any additional employment. It's within the State Council that they are going to have the personnel to manage this office. And as we
there
said,
are so many bills, Honorable Mandir. We have 3 more, and we all want to do them today.
Yes, we did that.
Thank you. If you have done it, say up, we have done it.
Yes, we did that. Yes.
Thank you. 4-2 plus 4-2. 4-3. Plus 5. 9. 11. 18. 22. 27. 29. 30. 32. 32. 37. 45. Page what? 46. 48. Page 17. 49. 50. 51. 57. Explanatory memoranda. Long title. 13. Twenty-one. 25. 29. 30. 30. 39? There's 39, but I've not seen the 40. You say carry it. Hmm? Are you sure? Well, first schedule, second schedule, third schedule. Congratulations to Bachera. Oh, sorry, it's numbers, but it's in view. Respected colleagues, the next point to be concerned is for the protection of plant varieties and encouragement investment. We have done that one. Clerk. I don't have that one. Huh? Where is it? He didn't give me so. You want us to revert to plan, Abby? Thank you. Which one? NHS. Respect colleagues, the next report is an act to repeal the National Health Insurance Scheme Act, CAP, N4 2 Laws Federation of Nigeria 2004, and to enact the National Health Insurance Authority Bill 2020. Who's giving the synopsis? Leader. It's an executive bill.
Mr. Chair and my colleagues, once again, this Senate bill that is meant for concurrence in the House. Basically, this bill seeks to repeal the existing National Health Insurance Scheme and also to enact the National Health Insurance Authority Bill to ensure an effective implementation of national health insurance policy that ensures the attainment of universal health coverage in Nigeria. Basically, it has been passed by the Senate and it's expected that we concur so that it can be passed into law. Thank you very much.
What are we taking from this bill?
Sorry, sir. We are actually, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, let's go.
The scheme has been very ineffective, and it is being, the previous law, which is inadequate, is being replaced for a new one to make it more effective. Basically, that is the purpose of it.
Well, at least we'll do it for the sake of believing that everything is fine. Because what they are supposed to give us is the mischief that is trying to cure from the former. Thank you. Clause 1. 4, 7, 11, 12, 16, 17, 25, 30, 33, 37, 45, 54, 50, Plenary memoranda. Okay. Respected colleagues, the last report to be considered is that of the establishment of National Transport Commission as an independent multimodal economic regulatory authority and provide for legal framework for the economic regulation of transport services in the industry and for related matters. And I invite the leader of the House to give us the synopsis of the report.
Mr. Chair, so what do? We don't have it. We go ahead. But I think it's for concurrence and it's been passed by the Senate. Basically, I suggest strongly that in the spirit of brotherliness, as we've always done it, you consider, the consideration of this and to let it go. So, like the previous one, the bill seeks to establish the National Transport Commission as an independent multimodal economic regulatory authority in the transport industry sector to promote the implementation of national transport policy and provide for an efficient economic regulation of the transport sector.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Kabiru, you have something to add? You have something to add because this is an industry, I believe so. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my honorable colleagues. It is quite very important motion to regulate the bill to regulate the transportation sector, as we do have Federal Ministry of Transportations and we have other agencies that are responsible for other transportations. Indeed, in the country, there is need for us to regulate that, and that can assist in actually making the legal framework of the bill to stand and comply in the industry, in the transport industry. And I think the Senate have done their work, and I think I would urge the House also to comply and see how we can be able to pass this bill for the sake of the nation. I so submit, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
No, sir. Page 5. Thank you. Close 6. 7. 8. 9. 11. 12. 15. 20, 28, 29, 32, 33, 35, 36, 39, 60, 40, 44, 47, 50, 50, 60, 51, 53, 54, 59, 60, 61, 67, 68, 69, 72, 75, 75, 78, 81, 84, 90, 93, 100, 100, 180, 109, 112, 112, 113, 1st schedule, 3rd schedule, 1st schedule, plenty memoranda, long title. Leader moved out of battle plan to report progress.
Mr. Chair and my colleagues, I move that we do revert to plenary to report progress. I so move.
Seconder, Kabir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, my honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Kabir Idris, member representing Kura Madobigar Malam Federal Constituency. Mr. Chairman, I'm from Kano State. I support the motion heavily moved by our leader to move back to plenary. I so submit, Mr.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. As is hereby to revert to plenary to report progress. Respected colleagues, the House in the Committee of the Supply considered the report of the Committee on the Niger Delta Development Commission on the issue from the statutory revenue fund of the Niger Delta Development Commission, the total sum of 453 billion 200 million naira only, of which the sum of 27 billion 389 million only is for personal expenditure, 13 billion 937 million 244,107 naira only is for the overhead expenditure, 2 billion 793 million 755,893 naira only is for the internal capital. Only 409 billion 800 million naira only is for development project for the period ending 31st March 2021 and adopted the recommendations of the report. Respected colleagues, the House in the Committee of the Whole resumed consideration on the bill for an act to provide for the protection of plant varieties, establish a plant variety protection office for the promotion of increased staple crop production for smallholder farmers in Nigeria and for related matters, and adopt and approve policies 42 to 57, the explanatory memoranda and the long title of the bill. Respected colleagues, the House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report on the bill for an act to establish the National Army University Bill to make comprehensive provision for the management, administration, and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 39, the second schedule, the explanatory memoranda, and the long title of the bill. Respected colleagues, the House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report on the bill for an act to repeal the National Health Insurance Scheme Act, CAP N42, Laws Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the National Health Insurance Authority Bill 2020 and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 60, the explanatory memoranda, and the long title of the bill. Respected colleagues, the House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the bill for an act to provide for the establishment of National Transport Commission and as an independent multi-model regulatory for the regulated transport industry sector and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 113, the schedules, the explanatory memoranda, and the long title of the bill. Leader, move for adoption of the reports.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My colleagues, Peter Batasi, MNI, I move that the reports be adopted. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
This is the one of the few responsibilities of the leadership, but I think so many ones who aspire. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Distinguished Honorable colleagues, I'm Honorable Fatou Balushola, member representing Ado Ekiti, a reporting fellow to Federal Constituency. I'm from Ekiti State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my leader. I so second. Thank you, sir.
Respected colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader, Chairman rules move for the suspension of our rule to enable us to take the third reading of the bills we have so far considered.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Abubakar Samfulata. I represent Birniwa Greek Assembly Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do suspend the relevant rules to enable us to take a third reading of all the bills to be considered at today's sitting. I so move.
Secondary leader.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion as ably moved by the Chairman Committee of Rule and Business. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Because we have suspended our rules, otherwise the honorary and the correct position should have been the leader now, moving for the consideration for the reading of the third bills. Do you have them now, or do we just invite the clerk? Clerk, you are invited to the third bills. You are invited for the third reading of the bills so far considered.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to provide for the protection of plant varieties, establish a plant variety protection office for the promotion of increased staple crop productivity for smallholder farmers in Nigeria and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Army University Bill to make comprehensive provisions for its management and administration and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to provide for establishment of National Transport Commission as an independent multimodal regulator for the regulated transport industry sector and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to repeal the National Health Insurance Scheme Act, Cap N42, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the National Health Insurance Authority Bill, 2020, and for related matters, third reading.
Bill reads the third time, pass by the House. Thank you. Leader, move for the adjournment of the House to. I've done the report. Thank you. Move for the adjournment of the House to Monday. Is it Monday or to Monday? Thank you. Of the House, I forgot we have a motion that was passed. Not the motion. An announcement from Eleman on the demise of one of our former colleagues. We're expected to observe 1 minute silence. We'll observe the 1 minute silence first, prayers, before we move for the adjournment of the House. Thank you. Can we rise for the Yes, move for the adjournment of the House.
Mr. Speaker and my colleagues, once again, I'm Comrade Peter Ohionzuje Apatasin, MNI. I represent Akoko Edo people. I am from the great Edo State.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Abubakar Safulata. I represent Benua Creek as I'm a good federal constituency, Mr. Speaker, from the Gaussian. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House we do adopt the votes and proceedings of today's sitting. I so move.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion that we do adopt the votes and proceedings of today. I so move. So second.
Those in favor say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Move now for the adjournment of the House to Monday.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and my colleagues. Mr. Speaker, you will observe that the House is almost empty. It was a very long day, but I think that we have a couple of our colleagues who have been here from the morning till this time. It's been a very, hectic day, and so I think that the commitment of this gentleman should be acknowledged by Mr. Speaker before we move the adoption.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker does not monetize the public.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I started by appealing that they should be acknowledged, and thereafter I moved that the House do adjourn till Monday, the 21st of this month. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Let me jump to the estimate side here.
Right Honorable Speaker, sir, my dear colleagues, my name is Babangida Alasan Abdullah, representing Dala Federal Constituency from Kano State. I rise second the motion moved by the majority leader to adjourn the House to Monday. I so second.
Respected colleagues, I think I want to join the leader of the House in commending you and thanking you and appreciating your good effort to remain this much far for the purpose of moving our country forward. All the bills that we have passed are of so much importance to all of us, from the Army University to the transport industry, which is a new introduction and innovation that will give another latitude in terms of improving what business in that sector will look like. And to the Niger Delta bill that was passed, I believe we are doing this service in the interest of all of us and our country, and I want to thank you. And it will not be out of order if other things could also be done to appreciate. Thank you. But for the most important thing, we appreciate all of you, the staff, and every other person that is here in this room. We appreciate you, and we thank you very much. May God reward all of us abundantly and continue to guide us. Thank you in the service of our nation. Those in favor of the motion, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. House is hereby adjourned to Monday next week, inshallah. Thank you.